lecture and part practice. So I'm going to talk a lot. It'll be pretty boring, but we'll do some practice in there as well, and hopefully it'll be less boring to do that. So we practice Qi Gong and all the things that we do here, from the medicine part to the Tai Chi part to the Kung Fu part. So Qi Gong is a part of our life every day because it's a way for us to stay balanced and healthy and to cultivate our internal energy, which is important for all of us. Can everybody see the projection at least reasonably well? It's not the end of the world if you can't see it, but it is up there. The intention for this is to make it about 60 minutes of lecture and practice. And I scheduled 90 minutes because if I have time at the end, I wanted to go over another kind of Qigong, which probably most of you actually have done with me before, called minor universal circulation. So I wanted to build in another 30 minutes for practice at the end. What is Qigong? Well, the two characters that make up the word are Qi and Gong. Qi is something that most of you guys have probably heard of, something like internal energy or life force, they call it. Gong is anything that you practice to develop skill in. So you put those two words together and you get something that you practice to develop skill with your Qi. Why do we do Qigong? Well, I would say my answer would be to develop what we call the three Taoist treasures of Jing, Qi, and Shin, which roughly equate to mind, body, and spirit. So it's an all-encompassing practice that allows us to cultivate what I think is pretty much all the aspects of our life. It's good for your health, good for your balance, good for your energy. Good practice roundabout. And you can do Qigong for so many different things. Qigong is a very, very, very deep well to choose from, to pull water out from. One way to think about Qigong is you can divide them into internal and external methods. The internal methods have a lot of sitting. They look kind of boring from the outside, but very active on the inside. And the external methods are usually have some kind of movement involved in them. A lot of martial arts Qigong are external. Iron body, iron bell, iron palm, all those words that have iron in front of them are usually because you're hitting stuff and not only making changes to your skin and bones, but you're also putting Qi into different parts of your body for whatever reason. So just some examples of some different ways you can use it are for like health preservation, like 5 animals of play, which is a very, very ancient Qigong, like goes back to a doctor named Hua. And it kind of mimics the movements or stylized ideas behind some animals that appear to be healthy or long-lived, something like that. Then there's some for healing that you do for your own internal healing that works on your internal organs, which is called Zong Fu. Zong Fu just means, basically, it's the Chinese medicine term for your internal organs. Then there's martial arts Qigongs, which enhance some aspect of combat for you, some sort of fighting or self-defense, something like that. Something like Heist is going to learn you how to do, how to be a tiger, right?
Yep.
That's right. Then there's energy cultivation, which is really where everything starts. It's the basic idea where we want to put energy into our system, or Qi into our system, like minor universal circulation. Then there's spiritual development practices, the Buddhists and the Taoists, and probably the Christians and every other ism has their own thing that they do. Maybe they call it prayer, maybe they call it meditation. The lines be kind of blurry in there maybe, but there's usually some sort of practice where you sit or stand quietly and do some sort of contemplative practice. Then there's special purpose, I guess, Qigongs that are designed to target a specific thing. Like one of them we do is Shaolin Monastery Qigong, which was specifically adopted by Twen'an doctors in China to make them better at their job of massage, sports medicine. And the Tai Chi Qigong kind of bridges that gap between Tai Chi and Qigong, where there's a lot of movements in it, and breath in it, and balance and rooting and everything else like that, but there's also a Qi moving and Qi cultivation aspect to it as well. How are we doing? Keeping up okay?
Yeah.
It's early in the morning. Everybody's sleeping. Well, you can sleep actually, it's okay. What do all of these Qigong practices have in common though?
Breath.
Good, they have breath in common. Have anything else in common?
Qi.
Qi. They have Qi in common. That's right. They all work with your Qi. There's us working with our Qi. It's very dark, you can't tell. But that's what we're doing. Then there's this guy right here, Li Shijin, very famous herbalist and doctor in Chinese medicine history. He lives in the 15th, 16th century. And basically, what he said was, you pretty much can't do acupuncture unless you're also practicing Qi Gong. That's how fundamental of a thing it is for our medicine is. You have to, if you're going to do an energetic medicine, you got to cultivate your Qi. And it's written in our literature everywhere to do Qi Gong. Which leads us up into, then, well, what is Qi? What is this thing that we're talking about? Well, it's form and function. The problem with saying, because everybody says, oh, it's your internal energy, your life force, is it seems to neglect that it's also your body, it's also your physical structure, not just this immaterial and untangible life force. It's something deeper. It's the inherent underlying structure of the universe. So literally everything is Qi. Like, it's the stars, it's the radiating energy from the stars, it's the gases in the stars, it's the space in between, it's everything. And we only differentiate it by what kind of magnifying glass we use to look at it. If we look at it, we've got a big magnifying glass or small magnifying glass, it kind of changes what we talk about. But to be honest, for most of our purposes in Tai Chi and Qi Gong and Kung Fu, life force, internal energy, that's adequate. But just so you know, there's a bigger picture. It's not just some intangible thing. It's something that you can touch and connect with and work with directly. It's not just energy, it's also matter. It's also the stuff that's underneath. So here's another fella, Cheng Tsai. She has existed from the very beginning of time. So already, 1,000 years ago, you're thinking about this immaterial substance that's the underpinning of the universe. So then my question to you guys is, where does Qi come from?
Sun.
Sun? Okay, where else?
Food.
Food? Where else?
Sleep.
Sleep, okay.
Oxygen.
Oxygen? Yeah, so very good answers. The air that we breathe is a big part of it. The food and drink that we consume. So I said all these cool like animations in there, but now I can't remember where I put them. So it's new for me too. From our parents. Whoa, crazy. All right. And then we have a more specific way. The air that you breathe in comes into your lungs, goes to your energetic spleen, your Chinese medicine spleen. Then the food that you eat goes into your stomach, it gets macerated and sent to your spleen. And together, your spleen manufactures your Qi. And in some ways, I think that there's some direct connection too between your mitochondria and your Qi, but I don't know. And then your liver is responsible for moving the Qi around your body. We believe that disease is caused by an imbalance to your Qi. And if you could have a way where you never had any imbalances to your Qi, you would never get sick. And so then if you approach these practices with that idea that I'm doing Tai Chi and I'm doing Qi Gong so that I don't have any imbalances to my Qi, it's because we stay healthy. And based upon what we've said so far, what do you think the major symptom of not having enough Qi is?
Fatigue.
Fatigue. Yeah, if it makes your energy and you don't got enough of it, you're going to be tired. And what about if your Qi doesn't move right? Any thoughts about what happens there?
Pain.
Pain. That's right. If your Qi's not, if it's getting caught up somewhere, it's pain. You stub your toe, what do we all do? Oh, we rub our toe because it makes it feel better, because you create some stagnation locally, and then you move it around and it feels better, it takes the pain away. And what do you think the best way to treat that tiredness that you have because you don't have enough Qi? How do we do that? Eat. Well, we look at your diet. So patients come in and say, oh, I'm tired. The first conversation we have is, well, what are you eating? So that's the best way to address that.